Hey everybody, my name is Nate. Welcome back to the channel. Hope all of y'all are having a safe and wonderful day. And in this video, I am gonna pretty much discuss what I thought about yesterday's NFL Sunday and obviously the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna talk about what happened with them. Um, I was gonna make a video last night, a little short video about my thoughts on the Tampa Bay game. But I was just too pissed off and I was tired, so I just went to bed. Didn't want to wake anybody up. But yeah. So yesterday was a good day for football. Some surprising wins. Some really good games. Um, the Philadelphia Eagles looked really good against the Lions. I mean, the offense, to be specific, they looked like just a powerhouse, especially with the Russian running game, and AJ Brown having a phenomenal game. There were actually a lot of receivers yesterday with good games. Justin Jefferson over 180 yards, Devontae Adams around 140, 160, Jamal Chase over 100, AJ Brown over 100, Cooper Kupp over 100 had back on Thursday, but you had tons of running backs with good games. Saquon Barkley popped off with over 160 yards rushing. Um, the Giants beat the Titans, which was very surprising. Um, the Titans are a playoff team. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team this year. Most likely they will, but um, they lost by a missed field goal, and a win is a win. So the Giants won that. The Cincinnati Bengals had a horrible game against the Steelers, and it's funny because after being sacked 4 times, 4 turnovers, a fumble, this and that, Joe Burrow still led his team back and got a touchdown. But obviously they lost in overtime, so that's not much. But it's crazy how you can, get so much, have so much issue and still come back and tie a game up and go to overtime. I One of the only games I did not keep up with was the Texans and Colts game because I really wasn't interested in that one. But I saw that they had tied, which was crazy. I honestly thought the Colts would blow them out, but the Texans were blowing them out, and then the Colts came back and went to overtime, and well, we got a tie. Um, the Chargers and Raiders game, that was a pretty good game. Khalil Mack coming back with 3 sacks. Justin Herbert just dicing them up. Obviously, Devontae Adams had that good game, like 10 catches or something for 140 yards, somewhat similar around there. You had Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs just dicing up the Arizona Cardinals, which they did not look like the Cardinals from last year in the beginning. I mean, they looked completely different. But it's a game, and Patrick Mahomes just destroyed them and dominated them. It's funny because people were saying, "Oh, um, Patrick Mahomes isn't gonna be anything without Tyreek Hill, this and that." And now that he do 5 touchdowns in the game, people are now making an excuse of saying, "Oh, it's just the Cardinals." It doesn't matter. Juju Smith was stepping up even though he had a few fumbles. Obviously, Travis Kelce was dominating. MVS was doing good. The running game was doing good. I mean, come on. The Chiefs are a powerhouse, and just because they lost a big time receiver does not mean they're gonna, just have a huge drop off. Um, some people do think that MVS, Juju Smith, and all these new dudes they have fit better into Kansas City's playbook than Hill did, but it is what it is. They looked really good. And some dudes, that George dude, I think his name is George Karlaftis, whatever, he looked really good. Nick Bolton obviously looked really good. But that's that about NFL Sunday. Time to talk about the Dallas game. Where to even begin? I honestly wasn't surprised at all with the outcome. We lost 19-3. The only good drive he had was the very first drive of the game that we had, which was the opening play of the game, opening drive. We went down the field pretty easily, and then we kept doing these stupid ass chick plays, these razzle dazzle plays that didn't have any success whatsoever. And that was like, why are you doing something like that so early on in the game? It makes no sense at all, and it was just annoying me. Um, Prescott kept throwing the ball into double coverage, triple coverage, quite a few times throughout this game. CeeDee Lamb, I do not think he's a number one receiver. That is one of my biggest things seen in this game so far. He is not a number one receiver, at least not yet. The dude still is dropping balls. And you can't expect to be somebody's best target when you keep dropping the balls. But the sad thing is, after him, we really don't have anybody else right now. There's Michael Gallup, but he's out until at least maximum week 4. You have James Washington, who he signed in free agency, but he's out until like week 8, week 10, somewhere around there. We only really have Noah Brown and Dennis Houston / Simi. You really can't do anything with that kind of receiving core, but it shouldn't matter. He played like shit. There were also a few times where he either threw the ball way too high or behind him, like on that one play with Noah Brown wide open. He threw the ball right behind him. Like, you're not supposed to be doing that. You get paid $40 million. $40 million, one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, and you perform like that. Now, that O-line is pitiful as well. We do not have that Great Wall of Dallas anymore, and we are really witnessing it. That O-line is absolute dog shit. The only dude we have good up there is Zach Martin. Tyler Smith held his own pretty well against some decent defenders off of Tampa Bay, but that will only get you so far. Terrence Steele, he absolutely sucks ass. 3 penalties in 1 drive. I mean, come on, dude. I could have sworn we got like 3 or 4 penalties back to back to back to back or something similar to that. Like, that's pitiful, man. But I mean, the offense just played like dog water in general. Noah Brown was decent for whatever he did, especially towards the end of the game. Our running backs, Pollard didn't really have a good game because of that silly razzle-dazzle plays they were doing, got him negative yardage. Elliott was actually doing pretty good. He was bullying the defenders, but again, we abandoned the run, which is something I addressed in my video where I talked about the 3 things we need to do in order to beat Tampa Bay. The only thing we succeeded in that video that I mentioned was making Tom Brady uncomfortable. But I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, you really can't expect this team to do well when you have a bunch of shitty dudes at O-line and you have barely anybody to throw to. I really would have loved it if they put Turpin and Zeke and Pollard out in the slot game a little bit more. Get Dalton Schultz involved more, whatever, but it just was not working, and play calling was predictable as hell, like always. Talking about the defense, our defense was the reason why we were in this game. That's the only reason. So we gave up a few big plays. Our run game, our run defense was not good at all. But what do you expect when our offense is just shit in the bed and going 3 and outs, or getting 3 downs and getting a 1st down and they're going 3 and out, or whatever, turnovers. Our defense held their own, especially in the red zone. We limited Tom Brady to 1 touchdown, and 2 of those times I should say, was because of Micah Parsons, who had a phenomenal game, and he's one of the biggest reasons why I was excited about this game. He had 2 sacks. each one being a third down in the red zone, and he sacked Tom Brady on third down, meaning they had to kick a field goal. That's potentially 14 points right there that they could have scored. And they probably would have scored because, I mean, they are a good team. Look how easy Mike Evans scored on Trayvon Diggs. But yeah, he was a beast all night. People want to talk about that one play with Leonard Fournette, chip blocked him or whatever you want to call that. That was a good play, but people these days love to just take one play and be like, oh, he's trash, or oh, he didn't have a good game, blah, 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 blah. No, the dude was dominating all game. People also mentioned that he was going up against backup tackles. I guess Tristan Wirfs is a backup tackle too because he beat him several times. And Tristan Wirfs is one of the best at his position in the league. Parsons could have at least had 4 or 5 sacks in this game if it wasn't for Brady getting rid of the ball quickly. I mean, he even told his lineman and Fournette to block him because the dude was disrupting the game. He's a beast. D-Law had a few good plays. All cornerbacks, Trayvon Diggs, even though he gave it that one touchdown, he was, having some tipped balls. Anthony Brown, obviously, he gave up that huge big touch or play from Julio Jones, which, I mean, Julio Jones is a beast, but then again, Anthony Brown isn't exactly a good player. I still don't know why he's on the team. And pretty much our D-line was the best part about this game. Pretty much. One of my biggest takeaways as well from this game is the penalties. 9 penalties, 60 yards. And I don't remember that. I saw that when we were in the beginning of fourth quarter or mid fourth quarter. So I don't remember if we got more flags after that. I'll have to look, but we played horrible. I don't know what they were doing in the off season with disciplining this team, but we are not disciplined. You can't expect to win games when you all come in and flag after flag after flag. That's why I cannot stand Mike McCarthy. That's one of the reasons why I wish he would just go coach for another team or retire. The dude is not a good coach as much as people want to, say, oh, he won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. No. Aaron Rodgers carried him to that Super Bowl. And I guess you could say he had some part in it because, well, the coaching has to do something, right? But, no, I mean, this team is not disciplined. I don't know what the hell is going on with them. We were a top 2 penalized team in the league last year, and it looks like we are already going down that path once again. And just to make matters worse, Prescott is out for 6 to 8 weeks. 8 weeks maximum, unless he gets a setback or something, which could happen, knowing all luck. He broke his thumb, tore a ligament behind his thumb, around here or something. But he's out for quite some time, so that means Cooper Rush is stepping up. And I honestly have no hope. I really do not know what we're going to do. If Dak Prescott couldn't do anything with these receivers and with that O-line, Cooper Rush sure as hell isn't gonna do anything. Sure, Cooper Rush won us a game last year against the Vikings, but he had Amari Cooper to throw to, Michael Gallup. I don't remember if he was in that game because he was injured last year, but still, I'm just gonna say he is. And he has CeeDee Lamb and all these other dudes, Cedric Wilson. He only has CeeDee Lamb pretty much to throw to and Dalton Schultz, because Noah Brown isn't really a player who can give you big plays, and nobody knows what Dennis Houston is going to do. And another thing that I don't know why we did it, but we sat Jalen Tolbert, which I guess it's because he played pretty shitty in the preseason. But I mean, I don't know, man, dude. But it's just gonna be dreadful. As much as crazy as it sounds, we have a chance to beat on the Bengals, specifically because of our defense. Bengals did not look good at all yesterday. But then again, the Steelers have an elite defensive line. They also have T.J. Watt. But I'm very excited to see what Parsons is going to do against that O-line. My prediction, he's gonna at least have 3 sacks. Okay. And then, you know, I honestly don't know what we're gonna do, man. This is what happens when you don't invest in free agency in the draft. You know, you always want to pay these players big ass contracts, and never have enough money to sign anybody. You know, we could have got players such as Cole Beasley, Jarvis Landry. Hell, we could even get Antonio Brown right now. I'm not saying we should because he's a nut job, but he would definitely be a huge upgrade, and I would definitely put him as wide receiver number 1 because he's elite and he's shown to be elite several times. He showed he was elite last year still, and he definitely would be better than CeeDee Lamb. There were so many players we could have signed in, free agency, but we didn't, which is just, it's mad annoying. And the draft was questionable. I mean, some people liked our draft, thought it was pretty underrated. Some people was like, what the hell are we doing? I know some people wanted George Pickens. I know some people wanted, I forgot who else. One of the cornerbacks, not Gardner or what's his name, Stingley, whatever his name is, Derek Stingley. But it was another cornerback who was pretty good. It is what it is, though. I mean, there's nothing you can do. But we are very thin at our receiving corps, and we are very thin at offensive line. I don't know what we're gonna do. I know our next 2 games is against the Bengals and the Eagles, which the Eagles game is probably going to be just embarrassing because the Eagles looked really good, and I can always see they're going to gas us out with the O-line. I don't know, man. The thing about football is anything can happen. You know, we could come out and beat the Bengals and then beat the Eagles and then lose the rest of the games, or lose the rest of the games. Who knows? But, our season potentially ended in the same day that it began. And another thing to top it all off is our safety, Jayron Kearse. He's out for several weeks as well. And also Connor McGovern, which is pretty important too because he was a starter on that line. So Dallas being Dallas, we're getting injured, already off to a good season. Already off to a good start, I should say. I don't know what we're going to do, but I don't know, man. Dallas is Dallas, and predictable as hell.